Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to 5 Questions With. Last week we had some amazing guests on the show, and boy, did we deep dive into their worlds. But here's the best part. We also uncovered their fun and playful sides. Our host, Scott Fullerton, has a treat for you today. You see, 5 Questions isn't just about serious stuff. We like to keep it light and quirky too. We ask questions that let our guests show their wonderfully unique and playful sides. Imagine this. What would they do if they woke up as a squirrel one day? Or what's their favorite ice cream flavor that describes their personality? It's all about bringing out their hidden quirks and having a blast along the way. We believe that even the most successful and accomplished individuals have a fun side, and we're here to celebrate that. So get ready to witness the fun and playful side of our extraordinary guests. You'll laugh, you'll smile, and you might just discover a thing or two about them that you never knew. So sit back, grab a drink, and get ready for the show.
Alrighty, everyone. If it's Tuesday, it's time for another 5 Questions With right here on the Left of Str8 show. Today, I'm very excited to have back the amazing lyricist, composer. He does it all, Mr. Scott Evan Davis. You may have seen him on social media once or twice. Scott, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Hey, we had a great interview talking about this amazing career of yours, some of the great plays, Indigo, all these things. If you missed our interview, be sure to check the link below. Right down there, you can listen to the entire thing. But you ready to play a little 5 Questions With?
I'm ready. I love games.
All right. Question number 1, Scott. We talk all about your Broadways and your musicals. If you were to live in any fictional Broadway musical world for a year, which one would you choose to live in?
A year. This is a great question. Into the woods.
Into the woods.
I would want to live in that fairy tale sort of. A year though, that's long. A day? Well, a year.
That is a long time.
That is a long time.
That's a gay answer, but that's okay.
All right, Sunday in the Park with George would be a good alternate, but yes, one of those.
I like it. All right. Question number 2. We talked about you do these fantastic remote teachings. You've been teaching over 25 years. What was the most exciting aha moment you ever saw a student have, and what did they learn?
It's a great question. I was being filmed for, I was in a documentary called Spectrum of Hope, and the 10 autistic children that I was working with, we went to Atlanta and we did this big theater festival for 5,000 people. And it was filmed, and it was really a great documentary. Anyway, we went out there, and there was one girl who had a very sort of overstimulated, overwhelmed, and we had an hour to learn this dance number, and then we were going to perform it in front of 5,000 people, and there was like 100 kids in the room. And 5 of them were our kids, and then other, neurotypical kids were there. And so her name was Ashley, and she got very overwhelmed. She walked in the room, she put her coat over her head, and she went into the corner, and she stayed there. So one of the teachers sort of sat with her. We rehearsed it. It was a song from Fame. We had an hour, and she didn't look at it. She didn't come out of the coat. I know, I was watching her, And then 5 minutes before, it was like 5 minutes before end of the hour was over, we were going to leave that room and go onto the stage and perform it in front of 5,000 people. It was like an intensive thing. It was very fast. 5 minutes before we were done, she took her coat off. She stood up and she ran to the center of the room. She shook it off a little bit, and she sang and danced it perfectly. How did she learn the choreography? I don't know. She never looked at it. Truly, I don't know. She literally never saw it. How did she know the words? I don't know. She just spent the hour listening. And when she was ready, she did it perfectly. And it was, I don't know if that's a teachable moment, but it was just one of the most, and it was caught all on video camera too, and Spectrum of Hope. It's such a beautiful moment. But that was, I think, one time in my career where I was just speechless. My mouth dropped, and I just couldn't believe how somebody's brain could be so brilliant. It was wild. So there you go.
That's an amazing story. Oh my goodness gracious. That is so cool. All right. Question number 3. We talked about it for 2 seconds on your interview, but I did read about it in my research that you were a big fan of the Golden Girls. If you could have lunch with any character from the Golden Girls, who would it be and why?
It would be B. Arthur, but I did have lunch with B. Arthur. So I can't even say it. I did. That's a whole different story. It was years ago. I would say it would be Betty White, hands down.
I like that.
Hands down, it would be. She's brilliant. Is.
One of my very good friends is Stan Zimmerman, who's come on the show a dozen times. And of course, he directed the entire first season of the Golden Girls. So I get
Yes.
Golden Girl stories all the time.
Oh
Plus,
my goodness.
it's great. He brought High Prov to Broadway this past year, and he's a great guy. But I love anything Golden Girls when I get to talk to Stan.
Real quick, just for you, there's a song I wrote called "Save Me the Rose." I wrote it for Karen Mason, but I wrote it because I was really bored one day, and one of the monologues that Rose says in The Golden Girls, it was the last Cake in St. Olaf episode, and she's at a dinner table, and there's a cake, and she's telling her husband that she's moving, but we find out later that he died, and she baked herself the cake. Anyway, I wrote a song called "Save Me the Rose" based on that monologue, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever written. So you should listen to it if you like The Golden Girls.
I am going to dig for that as soon as
Karen Mason sings it.
Karen Mason. Right.
Yeah, and actually Sally Mays too. But listen to it.
I am going to look for that's a great story.
And then play it for Stan.
All right, question number 4. If you had the power to create a brand new holiday, what would it be and what would it celebrate?
I think it would be really interesting to have a day where all technology stopped.
Ooh.
Knowing full well that it would be really hard for me too, and that I would need to know that it was coming back on. But I think it would be really interesting to do a factory reset on humans once a year for one full day of just no technology.
The withdrawal would happen within hours.
And I don't mean no electricity, but I just mean no technology.
No, just the withdrawal from that would be amazing.
Yeah, a bunch of fiends just running around the streets, just being like, oh.
All right, question number 5, Scott. You're holding court over coffee, of course, with 2 or 3 of the best verbal jousters around. Who you love to match wits with?
Barbra Streisand and Stephen Sondheim.
Like that. I like that. Yeah. Oh, that is great.
I think I think those 3 people. I mean, if I thought about it longer, I'm sure there's a whole myriad of people, but I think that would be a very fascinating ping pong match.
I don't think you can get much better. I agree.
Yeah.
Scott Evan Davis, you completed 5 questions. Thanks so much for helping us out here. Remind everyone where they can find you. What's your website and social media?
It's at Scott Evan Davis, ScottEvanDavis. TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook. My website is scottevandavis.com.
There you go. Guys, again, if you missed our full interview, we had a great conversation. Check out the link below. Guys, we'll be back next week because if it's Tuesday, it's always time for another 5 questions with. Thanks for listening to Left of Str8 Show, everyone. Bye-bye. All righty, everyone. Welcome to Left of Str8 Show. If it's Tuesday, it's time for 5 questions with. Today, we're very lucky to have back on the show Miss Karen Michalson is here. Fantastic author. Her newest book, The Maenad's Gods, is fantastic. We have a giveaway going on for it. Be sure to look at our full interview with Karen right down below at the link here. We talked all about this and her previous trilogy she had. Karen, welcome back on the Left of Str8 Show.
Thank you. It's awesome to be back. I love it.
I love talking to you. We are going to get into 5 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All righty. Question number 1. We talked in your interview. You are you've been a lawyer, a teacher, in a rock band. If you were to throw a dinner party, this is one of my favorite questions. Who of each of a lawyer, a teacher, or someone in a band, living or deceased, would you like to invite to your dinner party?
A lawyer. This Thomas
Jefferson fictional.
Lawyer. I mean, he did write parts of the Constitution. He did study the law.
I like that.
It would be an awesome dinner companion. A teacher? I want to say either Socrates or any one of the Stoics.
Nice choices.
Maybe Marcus Aurelius, although I don't think he was a teacher, but he took such copious notes, and I would love to see him go at it with Jefferson over politics. I think that would be fascinating by itself. And a musician. Maybe Mozart to just liven things up. I mean,
That would definitely slow the pace down a little bit.
would like add a lot.
We had this fantastic raucous dinner party. Mozart was just going to slow things down.
I would just in the corner and take notes on all, because there's explosions with that one.
I love that. That's great. Okay. All right. Question number 2. As a lawyer for 10 years in criminal defense, who do you think is the best lawyer on TV or in the movies?
I don't know, because I'm going to tell you the truth on that. I avoided watching lawyer shows when I was practicing because I was doing it. I didn't want to see any more. So I don't even have a menu of choices to choose from the best lawyer on TV or the movies. I don't know. I don't even know any. I could name.
There you go. I like it. That's okay. I know is just as good an answer. I don't know is just as good an answer as the real thing. That is fine. All right. Question number 3. You taught British literature. What character from British literature do you think would fare best in a mythological or fantasy world? Who would be the most fun to write in that genre?
First character that comes to mind that would fare the best would be Heathcliff.
Nice.
Because in epic fantasies, you want a character that can be hard. You have to be hard because you're facing all kinds of epic problems and issues to fight your way through. And he got his heart broken so thoroughly,
Right.
that he developed a certain hardness. I would say Heathcliff. Probably a lot
That
of others.
is a good choice. I like that. All right. Question number 4. Mythology, which I talked about in an interview, which I absolutely love, figures into your books, and most pagan holidays have some sort of mythology to them. If you could create a new holiday based on mythology, what would you call it and how would it be celebrated?
I call it something like All Divinity Day or All Gods Day or All Goddesses Day. And it would be celebrated by everybody would spend a day either drinking to or dancing to music related to or meditating on whatever deity they feel the closest to. It would not be for one.
That is a great way to spend a holiday. Well said.
And at the point of the holiday would be for everybody to come together. So the Apollonian that likes things very logical and moderated, but disciplined in which to present arts, would have that dinner party with the Dionysian who's drinking, and people would be sharing their different perspectives, and maybe there'd be an appreciation that all of these perspectives are important and needed to make a world.
So well said. Very good. All right, last question. Question number 5. We talked about you living in the New England area. It's one of my favorite foodie regions, and foodie is something we talk about in the show. If you could only have one of the following, which one would you choose, and what would you get rid of? Crab cakes, Ben & Jerry's, maple syrup, Dunkin' Donuts, or marshmallow fluff?
Maple syrup, definitely, I would choose. And probably what would I get rid of? Probably the fluff.
There you go. Good choices, unless you're a big s'more fan or fudge, I guess, but otherwise fluff doesn't have much.
Forgive me for saying that, but I think maple syrup is divine.
I love that. All right. Well, Karen Michalson, thanks so much. You completed 5 questions. Let everyone know where they can find your fantastic website and your books.
I am at KarenMichalson.com, and it's spelled without an E. A lot of people want to put an E in it and can't find me. My book, The Maenad God, which I love to show you, is available on Amazon and Kobo and Barnes & Noble and lots of other places. And on my website, there's a whole list of links to places where you can find it. And I hope you check it out.
Fantastic. Guys, definitely check it out. I'm in the middle of it. It's a fantastic read. The trilogy from before, also amazing. Be sure to check all that out. Look for our full interview in the link below. We'll be back next Tuesday. Because if it's Tuesday, it's always time for 5 questions. Karen, thanks for playing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
No problem. Stay on the line for me, guys. You've been listening to the Left of Str8 show right here in the Left of Str8 Radio Network. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Left of Str8 show. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast distributor, and please give us a 5-star rating so more listeners can find us. You can follow us on social media, and be sure to check out our website, www.leftofstraightradio.com, for contests and other news and information. See you next week.